Hello friends, I am Surendra Vasamsetti. I am currently studying BTech second year in Vishnu Institute of Technology near Bemuram. So, in part of my internship program, I am creating the three tasks that are assigned to me in part of the internship program. So, in the part of internship program, so for the first task is a random code generator. So they are assigned to me three tasks that are the part of the web development by using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. So in part of my internship I am using the React library. So you can ask why you choose React. So nowadays React, the uses of the React is very enhancing the boost of the web dev community. So and the framework that are related to the JavaScript is a React and the Angular. So Angular, when we compare to the Angular, React is very user interface and very easy to learn and develop. So for that reason I am choosing the React. So I am so past 2 months I am spending time and learning and developing projects in React. So for that reason I want to show off my skills and I want to enhance the knowledge in the React. So for that reason I am choosing React for this three tasks that are assigned to in my internship program. So for the internship program, the first task is random code generator. So when we develop any project in React, we use by installation the React in the two ways. One of the ways npx create React app. When the command is run into the terminal or any editor, it provides or it creates a simple React application in our editor. So and the another way is the white React bundle. So white React bundle also gives the same environment that are related to create the React project. So these are the two actional commands that are useful to create React installation app in our editor. So this is the random code generator. This is my first task. So for that reason I am not creating any create React app externally into my system. I am using the virtually web application that are gives the same React environment offered in the same through the external commands, white bundle and the npx create React. I am using the code sandbox for that my task. So here you show I have already opened it. So this is the code sandbox interface. So generally code sandbox is a simple virtual application for developing front end or any application. So it generally provides the same environment that are offered by the real editors and real environment. So for that purpose I am creating a React projects in the all folders in the React projects. I'm done already two tasks in the code sandbox. So task 3 I am using the external React installation through the white React bundle. So in this video I am explaining the task 1. This is the random code generator. This is a simple task. So when I open it, okay, so in this random code generator I am generating the random codes. When we click the button change code, it changes randomly code. That's not top to bottom or bottom to top. So okay, these are the codes that are assigned to into the. So what are the codes and where are the codes coming and where they come from? So I am using a simple API for this. Okay, when I copy this API, I am paste it, control. So this is my API I am created for the text and author based. So this is the API I am using in my random code generator. So these are the data that are coming from the API. Okay, so this is my simple web application random code generator. Here when I am click the change code, it simply changes the code and its author. Okay, now let's get into the explanation. So whenever we create a React app, we just installation or we any thing in the React we developed in the form of components, right? So for that reason I am using here the functional components to develop my project. So because the functional components are the ES6 components that are recently or 2 years maybe that are into the web community. Okay, this so before that functional components we use class components, but so we are all now use the functional components for developing the React projects, right? So for that purpose I'm using the functional components here. So in that reason I'm creating a simple functional component. You see, this is my functional component. So in that functional component I am simply written the content or whatever it may be, it's rendered into my web application. For that reason I am returning this. So here I am simply creating the boilerplate of my the random code generator. So here you will show. So in that in this p tags I am just fetching the data from the API, whatever it's given into my web application. Here this is the data fetching from the API, right? So and this is the boilerplate that are you seen into this here in this screen. Okay, now let's get into the video. So when we click the change code button, it simply changes its codes and its author name. Okay, so for that purpose I'm using the use state. So use state is a hook in the React library, we are all know that. So it is a important hook that are used for the state management. So when I click the change code button, it changes. So why it changes? So because I am using the use state hook, so for that reason I am simply imported from the React library. Okay, and I am, so this is the simple syntax for initializing the use state. So this is the quote is the state name, and set quote is the whatever the state it's dynamically changed through our action, it changes its state of the code state right now. So whatever the value that are assigned to the use state, that are the values the assigned to the code. So this is the simple use state using and initializing and using. Okay, so simple. For that reason I am creating a function. So this function is responsible for creating the event handling, right? So when I am click this button change code, it's randomly it's given its code and its author. So for that reason I'm creating a simple get quote array function here. So okay, single arrow function. So I am using the fetch method. So why am I use fetch method? So fetch method is the responsible for getting the data from the API, right? So here I am is the random function because I am getting the API or the data in the API is randomly. So I am not getting the data from the top to bottom or the bottom to top. I am getting the data or whatever it present into the API, it's randomly, or it's maybe 7 or 6 or whatever the numbers in the present in the API, it gets the data randomly from the API, right? So whenever the data is the that come from the or outcome from the API, let's just assign to the random num. So I am just so in this set quote we also know that. So set quote is used to changing the state of the state, you know. So for that reason I'm simply passing the parameter into the set code. So okay, I'm using the use effect. So use effect is another React hook that is used for the whenever our application is render. So here you show whenever the application is render is just shows. So whatever the components that are we render parallelly through the application. Okay, so whenever I'm justly remove this hook, you see control X, so it's working, but it's not rendering it's any other name or any other code, but I am just assigning the control V, right? So you so here is simply see whenever the web application is render, it's randomly generates any random code and author. So by using use effect hook we can render the or we can render or any component related to its hook, you know. So I am creating the copy for that the codes copy to the our clipboard. So I am using the on click event handler because whenever I am click the change code button, it simply changes its code. So for that reason I am creating the event handler of the on click. So I'm the creating a function get code, so I'm just simply pass it. So whenever the button change code I'm click it, it's randomly changes its code and the author. So this is the simple. Here the URL I'm using the API. It simply assign to the base URL. So for that fetch method I am using the data that are outcome from the base URL. So this is the simple random code generator using React. I hope you all understand my explanation. So thank you for listening.